Super legends, superheroes, and superstars. It's Dre and Vendi back for another edition. Do you know what? We don't actually have a name for this show, so if you guys have, like a name, that'd be pretty cool. So, just want to say happy Thursday. I hope you guys, anyone that's watching now, I don't think there is anyone, but please just tell us where you are from. And today we're going to be talking about how how introverts can build a successful brand. So I just want to say a massive, ginormous, huge welcome to Zesty and Vendi. How are you?
Hey, Drake. Doing really good. How are you?
Awesome. All right, so it's a stupid question, but did you go to the gym today? You did?
Thursdays are my gym days. Yes, still legs, still doing the same thing. Hence I'm sitting down because I can't stand anymore.
Okay, so that means, is that leg day? Thursday's leg day?
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Do you know what I was thinking? So with the question, can introverts build a successful brand?
Yeah.
I think I can answer that in one word. Yes.
Go on.
All right. Okay. Great show, guys. Great show. All right.
That's not very helpful, is it, though?
Do you want me to throw the grenade over to you?
Oh, you can, yes.
Yeah. So, what do you reckon? What's your thoughts? So I know you've got some interesting thoughts on this one.
Yeah, well, I consider myself, if I had to pick between being an extrovert or introvert, I definitely consider myself an introvert because, well, that's not what most people see on camera. I spend a lot of time by myself, going on walks, having what I call me time, which is my favorite time ever. And I think over the years, I got comfortable being more in front of a camera and just more comfortable with people. But the story that I told you before is that I still remember when I was applying for my very, very first job. So I was at university, it was just a bartending job at a hotel. And, you want your extra money as a student. And I was so introverted. I remember I went to the hotel, or I went to the building, and I was literally circling around the building for like 2 hours because I was terrified of going in, terrified of talking to anyone. I was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to say. Like, I had my resume with me, like a paper version, very old school. And I was like, I don't know. It's like, who do I talk? Like, it was a whole thing, a whole dialogue in my head. So that's where I came from. So if I can come from a place like that, or I was like, I don't want to go in, I need to apply. And like, I was terrified. I still remember the feeling. Like, I'm talking about it. I can feel the pit in my tummy because I'm like, it was awful. But the way you probably get out of it is exposure to doing the things you don't want to do, right?
Okay, because like from me looking at you and from like how I've known you, I wouldn't, like looking from the outside in, I wouldn't see you as an introvert. But we've had like conversations, so I know that you are.
Yeah.
So
I think that's the great news, right?
Can you tell us about like how you got out of it, because it's hard, like, because like introverts, it's all about like people might be judging me, and introverts, like, they observe everything. They're always looking.
Yeah, still observing, but as I mentioned, it's exposure. So you're doing the thing you don't really want to do. And the biggest example of this I have, I'm not sure if you guys know of, I'm going to be pronouncing his name incorrectly probably, but Till Gross. He's from Germany, but basically he did a pretty big TED Talk about 9-10 years ago. And it was about basically, what were they called? Comfort zone challenges. So basically you're putting yourself into situations that are going to make you feel uncomfortable so that you get out, you basically just, face the fear. It's going to be awful at first, and then the fear is going to go away. So you're basically, again, you're exposing yourself to the things you don't want to do. And I saw his TED Talk, and basically his solution for, let's say, caring what people think and lacking confidence in certain areas was to lay down on a street for 30 seconds. The more crowded place, the better. And the whole idea is that you want people to be staring at you and be like, who is that weirdo? So you want to do it like, you don't explain yourself. You just like lay down on the floor or in a street or in a restaurant. It doesn't even matter, for 30 seconds. And he, I think, created like this online community called Comfort Zone Crushers, where he was basically, okay, you sign up and this is your first challenge, right? And you have a week to do it. And, I watched a TED Talk and I was like, this sounds really cool, but like, you're gonna, and you have a week to do it. And I was like, the day one, I'm like, I'm not gonna do it today. Like day two, I'm like, I still kind of don't want to do it. And like, all the excuses come up and it's like the floor is dirty and like the this, the that, and I'm wearing a dress today. That's gonna be ridiculous. So maybe tomorrow, like all the things. And then the week went by and I hadn't done it. And I was like, I'm one of those people who's like, I thought I could do it and I didn't do it. So I was like, okay, well, I'm just not going to do it then. And basically 2 weeks later from that date that I watched this video, this is the most bizarre thing. So I was in LA at the time doing my internship and I was basically having brunch with friends, well, our friend, having breakfast in a pastry place because I love my pastries. So basically we're just having breakfast at our table outside, sitting outside. It's a French cafe. And halfway through our breakfast, like there's someone's just sitting right next to me on a different table and just looked over and it was that actual guy from the TED Talk.
No way.
Yes. And I was like, you're from Germany. What in the world are you doing here? Like, why are you in LA? How are you sitting next to me at this exact moment in time when I've been thinking about, this challenge for the last 2 weeks? I'm like, okay, universe, sending me signs of like, get out of your own way. And I remember thinking to myself during the breakfast, I was like, I'm going to have to do this like here. And I was like, I don't want to, and this is weird. And I was like, basically just waiting until the last minute. And like we had, paid and we had to leave. And I was like, oh, freaking, I'm going to have to do this. So I basically right there and then I lay down outside the restaurant in between the tables and he just got up.
In LA. So he laid down in LA.
We just like lie down the street. That's what you do. And he was like, he saw me and he was like, oh my God, yes. He was cheering me on and he was with another dude and it looked like they had some sort of business meeting or investment meeting. So I'm pretty sure I helped him close it because I think he basically showed that his movement had really taken off. Because again, it started in Germany. And that's why it was so bizarre. Like all the coincidences of like, how could we possibly be at the same place, at the same time, just having breakfast when, I was supposed to do it a week before and I didn't. And so that was one of the things I did. So it's kind of an extreme example, not very extreme, but like kind of extreme of putting myself in I was put in a position like you have to do it now, get over yourself. And it was ridiculous at first. And then 10 seconds later, you're like, this is really not that bad, right? Because you get over the fear. So that's my example of tackling it.
I love that example. So my question for you is, so if you are naturally an introvert, how do you show up? Because like you've got, I call you a LinkedIn legend and a YouTube like superstar. How do you show up all the time when because it's hard, like if you're an introvert, you just want to be by yourself. It takes a lot of energy to do what you do. So how do you go about doing it?
Yeah, so you're gonna batch it. Like this is what most people are gonna say. You don't actually show up every day. It looks like you do, but the content has been created before. So obviously lives are different, but with all other content, YouTube, you do it once a month, or like ideally you do a recording on one day once a month. And I still have my days like, okay, I'm in a flow, I want to do this, I want to shoot. And then if you're feeling in a different mood later on, you don't have to worry about it. So ideally that, I still fall off. Like I'm going to be honest. It's like not like even if I haven't prepared something and I'm like, oh, today I'm like not feeling like sharing myself with the world, then I fall off. But the best thing you can do is like prepare, have a library of content available so that you don't have to be on if your heart is not there and your soul is not there and you just like want to spend time with yourself.
Yeah. And I'm just thinking, because we've had like this conversation before, and it's like people will look at you, they'll look at me, and they will think that, oh, these guys are not introverted at all. They're extroverts. And I know from our conversations that you are definitely not an extrovert. And they've got, it's weird because you've got an introvert that just wants to. It takes them a lot of energy to put themselves out there. That's why they need to kind of retract and be by themselves. And you've got extroverts that get energy from being in those social environments. Yeah. And you've got like an ambivert that will, they're like a chameleon. They can just switch in between.
Yeah.
And then the omnivert, this is what I could never get my head around: the difference between an ambivert and a non-ambivert. Is that they are someone that are probably not too in control of their emotions, but they can, depending on the situation, they can be an introvert or they can be an extrovert.
Yeah, I think we all have sides of us. Like with time, at the beginning, it's uncomfortable, and I definitely consider myself the proper introvert probably 10 years ago. But as you do the things that are not comfortable, as you put yourself in those positions, it's awful at first, really awful. You're stressing out.
Yeah.
It's not cool. And later on, it just becomes a part of you. Right now, I would say that this is a part of me. Like, this is not me putting out the front. I'm like, I actually do enjoy being in front of people. I enjoy networking. I enjoy sharing my energy with them. But it's like you're trying to be, when you're in control of your own, let's say schedule, maybe I do most of my calls later in the day. So in the morning I have my me time, do my gratitude journaling, let's say go for a walk, do gym, do my stuff. And then I'm like, great. So I have, attended myself, and now I can attend other people. So you just have to figure out a flow in between. But it's going to become a part of you, which is what happens, I'd say.
Okay. So before we wrap up, how would someone that needs to put themselves out there? So I know that we are in a similar space, but we kind of service. You do like coaches, I do like corporate. If they want to put themselves out there, but I don't know, what advice would you give them? So before you answer your questions, so I'd say for me it would be for introverts to focus not on themselves but on the audience and the value that they'd be able to give. So that would be my biggest tip. Okay, you don't like that one? You were like, okay, all right.
How do you action that? How do you from the audience? So how do I take this now and implement it?
Yeah, it's getting out of your own way, and it's not thinking about yourself, because I think that's how a lot of people self-sabotage, because they're thinking about what people are going to think of me, what are they. But it's not, if you're thinking about adding value to someone else or actually helping, then that's my take on it.
Yeah, and that's actually very true, especially video format YouTube. Most people do not care about you. They're going there because they need a solution to a problem. So if your video appears, your content appears as a solution to whatever they were searching for, because it's a search engine, they really couldn't care less that, I don't know, you're probably going to be overthinking, does my hair look good or this and that, and all the things. When most people watching, they don't pay any attention to that. They're going to buy into you later on, but in the beginning, they're just like, I want the value, they go there for information. So that's true. Seek comfort in knowing that most people are just not going to care. We all think that, I don't know, everyone just cares so much. And what will people think when, most people are just too busy with their own lives and, dealing with their own internal insecurities or any limiting beliefs and stuff. We really don't pay that much attention to others. So seek comfort in that. I agree with that one.
Love that. All right, before we wrap up, is there anything else that you want to say or you want to leave with?
Just do the weird, uncomfortable thing. I know most people are probably not gonna be laying down on the street for 30 seconds or in the mall, etc. Especially now they're gonna feel germy. But I remember another thing that Till said you can do, another of his challenges was just walking with your hands up. Just go, you just go for a walk and your hands are up, and you just walk through the shopping mall, walk through, a busy high street. Because again, the whole point is that you want people to be like, who's that person? You want that attention so that the anxiety goes up. And then in a bit, you're going to be like, okay, most people actually don't care, right? So when you do the weird thing, it just the anxiety goes away. I think that's the easiest way to get over it, or the fastest. Maybe not the most comfortable, but the fastest way to get over anxiety of, what will people think, etc.
All right. So when you were laying on the floor, what did that feel like? How did it feel when you were?
It was. At the beginning, I think it's that whole point. It's my friends looking at me what in the world are you doing? What is happening? And he's like, why is this dude cheering you on? He was well confused. yeah, it's obviously there was anxiety there because I was literally just having breakfast and just thinking about it the whole time. And I was like, I'm gonna have to do this, and I was like, you just like having that internal dialogue until you just do it, and it's silly. And after a while, you're like, this is really you're laying on the floor. It's not a big deal. Just get up. And yeah, most people will forget about you and they're not going to care. But if that helped you get over yourself or overcome a certain block, it's a fast way to do it. So it's worth looking into it. And let me try to find that YouTube video just so we're helpful to other people. If anyone wants to try that challenge, we'll put it in the comments. I've done it. It's worth it.
Okay. All right. Boom. All right, guys. So anyone that is watching the replay, please help us out and put #replay. So we know if you've got any questions, queries, anything that we can help with at all. Vendy is do you know what? I'm going to admit because when we first met, I was thinking, like Vendy, she does LinkedIn, blah, blah, blah. And then we caught up and she gave me a coaching session and she absolutely schooled me on like a search engine thing. And I thought that I knew almost everything about LinkedIn, even though what she taught me I knew, but I wasn't implementing it. And it would have saved me so much time in my business. So if you guys, okay, all right, yeah, okay, high five. Okay. So if there's any coaches out there that need any help with like LinkedIn, or because you're a money coach as well.
Yeah, money mindset is a passion of mine. Yeah, we can talk about that. If anyone wants to chat, yes. Raise your prices like tomorrow. That's my motto.
Right, Vendy, just want to say a massive thank you to you. Huge thank you.
Pleasure.
And also, I can't wait. So we've got 3 weeks and you're going to be hosting.
I don't remember agreeing to that.
What was that?
I don't remember.
Okay.
Dre.
I think you did. Yeah, okay. Let's not argue on here. Let's take
fine. Yeah, fine.
But yeah, also I just want to say, like tomorrow, because I'm going to be seeing you at 7:00 Brisbane time.
Yeah.
Really looking forward to. Do you want to share what you're going to talk about, or is it secret? Is it branding?
Definitely a secret. We're talking about branding, but yeah, people are going to have to tune in tomorrow. So that's Dre's 24-hour marathon podcast.
Yeah, just casual. I'm not going to set a world record or.
No.
Like when the man landed on the moon. Or why are you laughing?
I'm not sure if that's a fair comparison, but I'm going to let you know.
So anyway, okay, all right, let's wind this up. And guys, whoever watches a replay, I'd love for you guys to jump on, see 110 people that have got just so much gold to share. It's going to be fire, and I'm just so excited because every guest has to finish with a dad joke. So that is at least 110 dad jokes. So that's material for around the Christmas table.
All right. I have to prepare mine. So
yes, you do. Okay.
That's what I'm going to do today.
Okay. All right. We are out. All right. Thanks, guys, for tuning in.
Bye, guys.